what you're saying is very demeaning. Do you know the word demeaning?
No.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today, we'll be counting down our picks for films whose infamous reputations resulted in bans at one point in time, somewhere in the world.
Good morning, Dave. Good morning. Hi.
Number 20. The Devils. It speaks volumes to the history and infamy surrounding Ken Russell's The Devils that the uncut version of this controversial cult classic still remains something of an unholy grail for collectors of physical media.
Why have you left your devotions?
They were watching Father Grandier.
We wanted to see the funeral procession of Monsieur Salmat, Reverend Mother.
Satan is ever ready to seduce us with sensual delights.
This all stems from The Devils being endlessly cut, edited, and outright banned since its release back in 1971, thanks in part to its potent combination of sex and religion. This combustible powder keg of a film isn't just mere exploitation, however, since Russell's script also speaks to the corruption of absolute power.
Is there anything else? Quickly, others are waiting.
I've had unclean thoughts.
Of what nature?
About a man.
What is his name?
I think of him in the early hours of the morning. My bedroom is suffocatingly hot. My thoughts are sinful.
The BFI's Region 2 DVD remains out of print at the time of this writing, and it's unclear whether a definitive version of The Devils will ever hit Blu-ray outside of dubious gray market sources. Number 19. The New York Ripper. Director Lucio Fulci's reputation as Italy's godfather of gore remains secure even today, thanks to such grisly exploitation efforts as 1982's The New York Ripper.
You remember that girl that they found 5 or 6 weeks ago? That model?
And Lynn?
Same exact style. I bet my denture she was done in by the same guy. A lefty. With a yen for slashing up young ladies.
This mean and nasty mixture of police procedurals, slasher films, and Italy's giallo cycle was banned in the UK and remained prohibited as such until 2002. It's easy to see why, too, since Fulci's bleak vision of 1980s New York City felt in line with the difficult criminal waters navigated by that city during this time. The New York Ripper is, said simply, rough, with fetishized violence and murder set pieces that leave absolutely nothing to the imagination. Oh, and the killer also quacks like a duck.
Lieutenant Williams?
Speaking. What do you want?
To dedicate a killing to you. Gonna sacrifice a woman just for you. Like the idea?
Did we forget that part? Number 18. Caligula. We live in an age where it seems almost inconceivable that a film containing stars like Malcolm McDowell, Helen Mirren, and Peter O'Toole could actually be confiscated by authorities upon its release.
Every senator believed himself to be a potential Caesar, therefore every senator is guilty of treason.
Yet, that's what happened in Italy after this co-production between that country's director Tinto Brass, screenwriter Gore Vidal, and Penthouse magazine producer Bob Guccione hit screens. Caligula is seen retroactively today by many critics as a fascinating blend of art house creative sensibilities and blatant adult-focused erotica. A misunderstood X-rated masterpiece with a lot of WTF to offer those willing to take the ride. Back in the day, however, Caligula got a lot of people hot and bothered, just probably not in the way it intended.
You are a fool.
Caesar cannot be a fool.
But he's trying very hard.
Caesar cannot be a fool.
Number 17. I Spit on Your Grave. There's no denying the graphic execution of the original 1978 version of this infamously banned film.
You got a boyfriend?
I have many boyfriends.
Could I be your friend?
Yet I Spit on Your Grave has also managed to be seen retroactively as a defiantly feminist statement against sexual violence and abuse. I Spit on Your Grave was banned in many places across the world due to its explicit content. The controversy also helped make Camille Keaton a cult star. However, an actor whose performance in the face of truly traumatic odds helped make I Spit on Your Grave live on as a progenitor on the revenge genre.
I knew you were going to like it here.
Number 16. Sweet Movie. There's little in the way of actual sweetness in writer-director Dusan Makaveyev's 1974 effort, Sweet Movie.
We advocate simple triumph of the will. It is painless and ever so rewarding.
This is despite Makaveyev's ostensibly filming an absurdist comedy, commenting upon commercialism and left-wing politics while also breaking every rule of perceived good taste along the way. Sweet Movie was banned and even seized in countries like the United Kingdom due to the film's fast and loose approach to filming certain bodily fluids. Sweet Movie also found itself in hot water thanks to footage of Cotton Massacre victims, not to mention other implied content that we can't mention. Lead actress Carol Laura was so offended by her part in Sweet Movie that she abandoned the project during production.
You are so beautiful.
I know.
Number 15. Deep Throats. You had to have been there, as the saying goes. During the era of porno chic, even society's elite were slumming it in New York City's 42nd Street grindhouses in order to catch a glimpse of what was showing on screen.
You all right? Yeah, I'm fine. What makes you say that? You, the way you're acting. You've been moping around all day.
Films like Deep Throat were banned across the United States despite ravenous audience demand to see sex displayed on screen in a manner that differed from stag films found in the city's peep shows. Deep Throat had a plot, albeit a silly one, and a desire to combine adult performance with cinematography. This mob-connected venture may have caused a lot of legal headaches, but Deep Throat also opened the floodgates for brief adult film legitimacy.
Anything you say. You know I'd do anything for you.
Would you really? You're not just saying that?
No, I mean it, really.
Number 14. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Horror movie trivia fans like to discuss how the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre actually doesn't possess that much on-screen gore.
Hey, you see those buildings there? That's where they kill them.
Yet that didn't stop director Tobe Hooper's masterpiece from being banned in countries across the world. The question can then be asked, did those in the political position to ban the Texas Chainsaw Massacre do so after actually viewing the film? Or did the reputation of Hooper's film precede itself with regards to its undeniably powerful atmosphere?
He killed Franklin. I don't know. Call the police.
The original Texas Chainsaw certainly struck like lightning in a bottle, transfixing fans and critics alike with a power unlike anything else released at the time. Number 13. Faces of Death. The promotional advertising for the 2026 reboot of Faces of Death smartly hypes up the original's reputation as a rite of passage for many a horror-loving kid from the 1980s.
And over the past 20 years, I've compiled a library of the many faces of death.
The original Faces of Death also promoted itself in this fashion, wearing its banned in 46 countries advertising as a badge of honor. This exploitation film disguised as a documentary would eventually become known for its juxtaposition of fake, staged death scenes alongside very real news footage, blurring the lines between art and violence, and becoming a legend in the process. Sequels, ripoffs, and other violent Mondo movies would emerge in the wake of Faces of Death's bad taste success. But, as they say, you never forget your first time.
No matter how safe this may appear, we still have very little control.
Number 12. The Last House on the Left. The moral panic that took place in the United Kingdom in the 1980s resulted in films such as The Last House on the Left being banned as video nasties.
Do you know their car broke down right out front, John?
Oh? Anything serious?
Yeah, I'm afraid we blew a rod.
These films were unavailable in their uncut versions for decades. Unavailable at least outside of the burgeoning black market bootleg circuit that thrived alongside the video nasty craze. Wes Craven's rough exploitation and revenge film was also edited in other countries around the world, and with good reason.
What's the trouble, Doc? Shut your filthy mouth.
Now take it easy, Doc. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
This dire and honestly depressing horror classic spares no expense with regards to the grime and sleaze, making it a challenging watch, even by today's standards. Number 11. A Clockwork Orange. Legendary director Stanley Kubrick did something a little different after the release of his adaptation of Anthony Burgess's novel, A Clockwork Orange, back in 1971.
I'm sorry, but we don't usually let strangers in on the
Kubrick decided to voluntarily impose a ban on his film shortly after its release in the United Kingdom, after copycat criminals decided to take inspiration from Alex DeLarge and his Droogs. The film also saw other non-voluntary bans in countries such as Brazil, Singapore, and South Africa, lending further fuel to the reputation of Burgess's source novel as one of the 20th century's most controversial works.
Where did you hear about this? Who's been talking about these things? These things get around, Father.
Number 10. The Birth of a Nation. Few movies are as notorious as D.W. Griffith's The Birth of a Nation. Released all the way back in 1915, the historical epic has garnered intense criticism for over a century. It's an incredibly racist piece of work, featuring evil and bumbling black characters, a heroic depiction of white supremacy, and pseudo-history that legitimizes the lost cause of the Confederacy. Even by 1915 standards, this was all seen as wildly problematic, and the movie's release was met with protests and vehement criticism. Fearing racial backlash, several American cities and states, including Chicago, Pittsburgh, and Ohio, banned The Birth of a Nation. Number 9. The Human Centipede 2. Full sequence. There's arguably a good idea buried deep within The Human Centipede 2, as it utilizes some clever metafiction to comment on the original movie and the potential danger that it poses.
I was really drawn to the film because of the medical aspect of it. If you were a surgeon, you could actually perform that surgery. It's just so scary.
But critics agreed that the good idea was squandered by bad filmmaking and some reprehensible violence. The movie was not given a rating by the British Board of Film Classification, or BBFC, which means that it was de facto banned.
He keeps on talking about a centipede with 12 people. What does that mean?
It wasn't until more than 2 minutes of footage was removed that the BBFC gave it the classification required for release. A similar incident occurred in Australia, but the story is different in New Zealand, as the distributors never even sent it to theaters there. Its DVD release, meanwhile, was prohibited. Number 8. The Death of Stalin. This political satire from Armando Iannucci mines comedy from the death of Joseph Stalin and portrays his council of ministers in a not-so-flattering light.
I said you'd be tested, and right now you're being tested by a shouting man wearing pyjamas. Have you got a nappy under those too? Too late for him.
The movie was widely praised and won various British independent film awards. But as you can imagine, The Death of Stalin was not warmly received in Russia. Various institutions released statements claiming that it was both inaccurate and antagonistic, and it was banned shortly before release.
Shouldn't we check it? No time. If it's not okay, then Stalin's men will chop you into dog meat. Thank you.
Regardless, that hasn't stopped many Russian citizens from viewing it. One particular theater made headlines for defying the ban, and over 1 million people are thought to have watched the movie through illegal piracy.
He's heavier than I thought he'd be. Oh, you think Stalin's too heavy? No, it's a compliment. Gold is heavy.
Number 7. The Da Vinci Code. Dan Brown's classic thriller subverts many canonical facts about Jesus Christ, and the film adaptation follows suit.
But how could Christ have a bloodline unless...
Mary was pregnant at the time of the crucifixion.
During his rousing adventure, Robert Langdon discovers that Jesus and Mary Magdalene not only wed, but had a kid. As if it wasn't enough, he also learns that their lineage continues to this day in the form of the metaphorical Holy Grail.
The end of the bloodline. You are the last living descendant of Jesus Christ.
The movie portrays the Catholic Church as holders of this secret knowledge who have been concealing the truth for ages. The film and its fictional weaving of religion and history offended many and drew widespread condemnation. It was met with protests and was banned on blasphemous grounds in numerous countries, like Egypt, Pakistan, and Jordan.
You asked what would be worth killing for. Witness the greatest cover-up in human history.
Number 6. Pink Flamingos. While some may call it John Waters' masterpiece, Pink Flamingos makes for an incredibly difficult watch, even by today's standards.
This beautiful mobile home you see before you is the current hideout of the notorious beauty divine, the filthiest person alive.
We can only imagine how contentious it was back in 1972. The movie is filled with depraved actions and disturbing scenes, as characters compete to be the filthiest person alive. It was even marketed as an exercise in poor taste. And yep, that pretty much sums it up.
Do you think it enhanced my filthiness?
Oh, Crackers, you should dye your hair. It would make you look much filthier.
Pink Flamingos was deemed offensively revolting and received bans in Australia, parts of Canada, and Switzerland, just to name a few places. Funnily enough, the movie is now part of the Criterion Collection. Perhaps there's sometimes artistic merit to be found in the grotesque.
Watch, as Divine proves that not only is she the filthiest person in the world, she is also the filthiest actress in the world.
Number 5. The Last Temptation of Christ. Movies that depict Jesus Christ have to walk a fine line, as religious content has a lot of potential to offend.
And the voices, they call me by name. Jesus.
The Last Temptation of Christ started as a novel published in 1955 and was met with immediate backlash for its themes and depiction of Jesus some felt was blasphemous. The novel was adapted by Martin Scorsese over 30 years later, and nothing had changed.
Take this bread. Share it together. This bread is my body.
Scorsese was threatened, and an extremist Catholic group even carried out an arson attack at a Paris theater that was screening the movie. Numerous countries banned the film outright, including Argentina, Israel, and Mexico, and it continues to be outlawed in Singapore.
And killing or loving, it's all the same. It simply doesn't matter how you want to change things. We don't want them changed.
Number 4. Cannibal Holocaust. There are scandalous movies, and then there's Cannibal Holocaust.
This is a documentary they shot for us about 1.5 years ago.
Can I start? Yes, please do.
The granddaddy of video nasties, Ruggero Deodato's horror film has long been criticized for its extreme level of violence. The killings are so realistic and disgusting that people genuinely thought this was a snuff film, and Deodato was charged with homicide. He was eventually acquitted, but the reputation of the movie lived on.
Of course, they had no inkling of what was really in those cans. And how could you explain what a movie is? They just felt that they were a threat.
Countless film censors took umbrage with the violent content and real animal killings, so Cannibal Holocaust received bans across the globe. Many of these prohibitions have since been lifted, but the movie is notably still barred in New Zealand.
I wonder who the real cannibals are.
Number 3. Borat. If anything, Borat is a great exercise in interpretation. The movie was widely acclaimed in the Western world, won numerous awards, and was the pop culture event of the year.
I get the step, he must get the step. I get the clock radio, he cannot afford. Great success.
Even to this day, people imitate Borat and his many catchphrases. But most of the Arab world found the movie to be wildly offensive.
She is my sister. She is number 4 prostitute in all of Kazakhstan. Nice.
Officials in Kazakhstan condemned both the film and its leading character, and the government successfully asked that it not be distributed there. Kazakhstan wasn't the only country to take issue with the movie's satirical content. In fact, Borat was banned in nearly every Arab country.
A town mechanic and a abortionist.
Number 2. a Serbian film. It takes a lot to offend 21st century moviegoers.
Miloše, treba samo da uđete u njih I putujete ka ostvarenju vaših snova I mojih ličnih profesionalnih fantazija.
The Motion Picture Association in America, for instance, has grown more lenient throughout the years. So it can seem like everything but the most extreme content is given a pass. Well, a Serbian film has that extreme content and then some. It carries a heavy reputation, and it's widely regarded as one of the most unsettling, gross films ever made. It was therefore banned either temporarily or permanently in numerous places, including New Zealand. One Spanish festival director notably faced charges for publicly showing the movie, though he was exonerated. It was also the first film in over 20 years to be banned in Brazil.
Sine, to je film. To je sve ko bajagi. Tad je tata bio mlad.
Znam, ali kad sam to gledao, osjetio sam nešto čudno.
Before we continue, check out this single from SoundMojo's Audio, Songs from Iran, reimagining Persian melodies as modern rock, metal, and pop songs. Check out the full track and album below.
Number 1. The Interview. It's rare for a movie to cause as much drama as The Interview.
Come on, you? At where I work, you'd be eaten alive at our office. Okay, I'm gonna catch up with these guys, but cheers, man, congrats. Or whatever.
This political satire is about an entertainment talk show host and his producer, who traveled to North Korea to interview Kim Jong-un. Unsurprisingly, the country was none too happy with the content of the film and took offense with its depiction of their nation and leader.
Good morning, Dave. Good morning. Hi, Dave Skylark. It's crazy.
A criminal group with links to North Korea hacked into Sony Pictures Entertainment and threatened violence in a bid to prevent the film's release. In the aftermath, the interview's US-wide theatrical release was controversially axed by Sony. While it would go on to be released through VOD and streaming, it remained banned in both North Korea and Russia.
For decades, you've heard the false rumors. North Korea is a failed state. We can't feed our people. Yeah. It's all propaganda.
What are your thoughts on film censorship? Who, if anyone, should decide what's morally objectionable? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.